Hi guys, Mr.Broud coming at you here from Heritage High School's Panther Automotive. Today we're going to be talking about Lesson 32 in the Goodhart-Willcox GW Hands-On Maintenance and Light Repair. Lesson 32 talks about all different kinds of fasteners, and we reviewed those fasteners already with you guys: nuts, bolts, screws, body pins, lock washers, flat washers, body washers, all of those things. And all of those fasteners are, susceptible to damage over time, and we want to talk today specifically about screw extraction and broken bolt extraction, and we're going to use an example over here. So we'll get set up and show you guys what we got going on. And all right, so here we go. We have a broken stud here that we can't really get a set of locking pliers on, and we will be drilling that today. But if you're lucky enough to have a broken stud that is something that you can actually get out, we want to use a good pair of quality pliers, locking pliers. Best ones on the market are made by the trade name Vice Grip. All right, you want to keep your vice grips good and clean. You want to keep the jaws and the teeth in good order, and keep your locking mechanism actually lubricated well. So we're going to get you down here and take a look at what we're going to do to get this stud out right here, and we're going to grab a hold of that with our locking pliers. All right, so we're going to squeeze that down on there and get it to the point where we can barely squeeze it together. All right. And I'm going to back that off about a quarter of a turn and then try it again with everything I got. Not quite yet. A little bit more, quarter more turn, and they're locked on there. You want to pull on that, do your best. We can pull on this in this direction. Again, this is a steel bolt going into aluminum. Remember that those two metals do not get along with each other. So we want to soak that with some penetrating oil. All right. This is a fantastic product. Again, soak that stuff. Let that sit for a couple of minutes. We had done that previously. So this should actually come right out. All right. And once you do that, you want to wiggle that back and forth a little bit. Move that back and forth. You might even spray it again. All right. And once you have that undone, if you can't make a full swing or all the way around with your locking pliers, all right, I'll go ahead and take those and move them, go back and forth a couple of times, and then you can extract that, taking it directly out. We could put a little light on the subject here so you can see what we're doing a little better. All right, as we get that out of there, all right, that's one way of doing that. And if we had a broken fastener and we had it like this, might be able to get that on there and actually get that one to turn as well. All right, we are going to drill that one for you guys. Okay, and there's another technique that I want to show you guys here. So I'm going to grab a couple of threaded nuts and thread those on. And what we're going to do is lock those two together, and that is called a double nut method. All right, and that will actually make it where we can extract those right off. Okay, so this is what we're ultimately gaining here. All right, and to take those out, we'll need a wrench and a socket. Okay, here we are with our stud, and we have threaded a nut down on there, and we're going to double nut this in order to remove the stud. This will not damage the fastener if we were going to reuse this, or for example on this exhaust manifold face, we wanted to reuse these studs. In this particular case, we're just doing this for demonstration, and you're going to hold the bottom one with a wrench. And what you're going to do is actually tighten the top one down with a socket. Now once you have those two locked together, this should actually act just like it would be a bolt, and we should be able to extract that. Alright, those two are locked together. Now we're going to put a wrench on there and a socket on the top and take those off, and we will have ourselves our stud for reuse. Alright, there we go. We have our stud now, and no damage to the threads. Again, if we did have any little bit of damage to the threads, you can use a thread chaser and put that thread chaser on there and thread it on and clean up the threads. Don't forget about our thread file. Thread files. All right, they have our numbers right on them here for our actual thread pitch. Okay, so in this case, this is a 10 millimeter, but what we're interested in is the pitch size, which is 125, and you would lay that right on there, and you could clean up any threads that had any little damage or cachagnias on there that may impede it from going in smoothly. Again, there's a difference between a dry fit and a lubricated fit when it comes to these, and you have to follow the manufacturer's specifications when inserting a fastener, whether it is supposed to be dry or lubricated. Alright, so moving on now, we're going to actually extract this stud that it broke off here, and to do that we're going to use an extractor and drill bit. What we need to do first is center punch this so we have a good start with our drill bit, and we're going to grab our automatic center punch, and this is one of my favorite tools. Automatic center punch is a center punch that is spring loaded. Okay, you want to make sure that the tip of your center punch is cleaned and dressed up so it can actually make a mark right in the center of our steel. So, safety glasses on, and we're going to put that right in the center of our stud and push that down squarely. If it makes a small mark and you don't feel like it's deep enough, you can do that several times. Alright, but you want to make sure that you do it in the same hole and right on the center of the fastener. Now from here we're going to set up with a drill bit and we're going to start drilling. Okay, as you can see, we've got our hole started here, and we're going to continue on with drilling that. Make sure that you stop once in a while, lubricate the hole with a little bit of, I like to use synthetic motor oil. Wipe your chips away, all right, and make sure that you don't get anything down inside any kind of important parts like the cylinder head in this case. Okay, once you got that started, one of the greatest things that's ever been invented when it comes to screw extraction and broken fasteners is the left-handed drill bit. This drill bit actually, as you turn it in the counterclockwise direction, it actually drills in, all right, and it will actually grab a hold of the fastener and hopefully walk the threads right on out of there by drilling it in counterclockwise, which is the way those threads would walk out. That's a specialized set, and you have to have a reversible drill with that. It does come with screw extractors of one sort, and we're going to give that a shot today and use a left-handed drill bit. Okay, we have our left-handed drill bit chucked up, and again, as we put that on there and turn that in the counterclockwise direction, it actually drills into the fastener. All right, so that the flutes are backwards compared to what you might be used to on a standard right-handed drill bit. And we're actually going to thread that in here, and hopefully it catches. And it doesn't look like that's happening at the moment, but we're going to keep at it here for a minute and be right back with you. Getting closer, and I think we're going to go up a drill bit and drill bit size in the left-handed drill bit. Again, you can see the magnetism that is generated by the actual spinning here, moving metal through metal. That is going to create some magnetism, and that can be expected. You might even build up on your fastener, which you may want to blow that off once in a while. A little bit of air pressure, safety glasses. Watch where you're blowing that stuff off. And again, continuing on with a left-handed drill bit with a little bit larger size here. And doesn't look like that's actually going to catch the way we're hoping. We're going to stay with the other size. And we're going to continue drilling this and getting down in there and either drive a screw extractor in there, or it's going to walk itself out with the left-handed drill bit. Okay, so true to form, of course, as soon as I paused, it began to walk itself out. And see if I can catch this on film. All right. Walked it right out. All right, got our fastener out of there, and that's how you use a left-handed drill bit. Okay, we're going to put that back in there and actually show you guys the next step if it did not walk itself out of there. And again, this would be if you could not get a hold of it with a pair of locking pliers or the double nut method. This is the end of the road and a last resort, but certainly something that you are going to experience in your life, and I hope it's way down at the end of your life. But nonetheless, we're going to get a screw extractor and drive it in here and use a couple tools to remove that broken fastener. Stand by. All right, so we have our screw extractor here, and again, it has some left-handed flutes that as you turn that counterclockwise, this is actually going to drive itself and down into the hole that you have started with a drill bit, and you want a good deep drill bit drill hole in there. You're going to apply some starting force in there with a brass hammer preferably. And I do have a special gripper for this that is a square drive, and as you push down on that, that will bring that fastener right on out. And there you have it. Our screw extractor has taken our broken fastener out. All right. Now, in order to clean that threaded hole up, we do not want to use a tap for that. We want to use a thread chaser. All right. We need to make sure that we have a 10 millimeter by 125 thread chaser, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab that. And here is my thread chaser, and that's going to go right down inside the hole, and that should go in with fingers only. And if it takes a little bit of driving force, we want to make sure and lubricate it. Again, I use high quality 5W30 motor oil, synthetic motor oil. I want to clean those thread holes all up, and any corresponding studs, of course, would need a thread chaser for the outside of these, and a thread file. Like we mentioned before, you might have to file these with the right threaded end on the file, and file those threads and clean up any boogers and Crissagnias, little nicks and stuff that you may have in there. All right, and there are thread chasers for those as well. So you would have a thread chaser that would go on there, and you would chase those threads also. All right, and then you would be able to put your new stud or fastener, excuse me, there we go. Thread that in and chase that back out. Wonderful. And then we'll have a good tight fit. And last but not least, you may have to tighten that down in there. And again, you can use that double nut method in order to tighten that stud into the head so you can actually install your exhaust manifold. I hope you enjoyed this lesson 32 tidbit on screw extraction and broken screw extractors and fasteners, and I'll see you next time.